Yo, what is going on YouTube? McFlurpies here, coming at you with another NBA 2K15 MyTeam video. And as you can see on your screen, we finally reached the collector level GOAT, which means we got ourselves an Allen Iverson. Now, you guys have already seen the video by now, but I haven't opened up the pack yet. I made a little hype video. Should have been up already if you're already watching this. But today, I want to give you a quick little, not tutorial, but just some tips and tricks if you guys want to get an Allen Iverson for yourself. I really don't recommend it going out of your way since there's only about a month or two left in 2K, but that makes it easier to get them in my opinion. So first of all, you spend about 600 to 700k MT. Well, I did at least. I know a lot of other people have spent about 900k, so I did get a little bit lucky with some snipes and such, and since it is a little bit later, cards were a little bit cheaper. But one thing I wanted to do, I wanted to bust out the math on you guys, so let me just get onto my computer real quick and go to Google. Now I want to say that since you're spending about 600 to 700k MT for Allen Iverson, and that is 1,265 cards, what you got to do is, obviously, when you're done with the collection, you get all 1,265 cards, you're going to sell most of them back. Now, this is why I feel like the reward pays for itself. So what I'm going to do into Google is I'm going to type in 1,265 multiplied by 500. So assuming you sell every single card that you bought around that for 500 MT, you make 632,000 back. So you're really only losing 70,000 at the moment. Now, you might, obviously you're going to sell a lot of other cards for 1,000 and 1,500 and such, but now what we got to do is take 632,000, so 632,500 multiplied by 0.85, so that's the tax, so 0.15 would be the tax taken off, but 0.85 would be the tax already taken off, and that leaves you with 537,000 pretty much. So essentially, if you sold every single card that you had for only 500 MT, even though cards like over 30k, like LeBron, you'd only lose 170k approximately on doing this collection. So that's why I feel like the collection pays for itself, because I'm gonna pretty much make 85% to maybe 110% of my coins back. I mean, obviously that's probably not gonna happen, but you know, it makes sense the way I did it mathematically. And yeah, so anyway, I want to show you, the way I did this pretty much was I went online and I looked up Diamond Allen Iverson, and I looked at people's videos. You know, Gento posted a video of him, and he just went through his whole entire collection, and that's what I did. I just looked through that video at cards that were cheap. Now, so if you're going to complete Diamond Allen Iverson, you definitely need all the 2014-15 NBA collections completed, 76. You need all of these. I didn't buy some of the expensive cards like DeAndre Jordan, Jamal Crawford, Kyle Korver, but I mean, if you go through, I bought 90% of them, but I still completed the collection. You know, I did buy DeAndre Jordan and Jamal Crawford, but I wound up selling them back because for the 20k combined for two cards that, I mean, they equal, I can get 5 or 6 cards for the same price of 2. So yeah, I completed every single one of these collections and sold some of the expensive cards back. You know, I didn't buy Kyle Lowry because I already completed that and didn't really feel like it. But yeah, so we did every collection here. You know, you have to get every arena, every coach, every logo, every single playbook, every jersey, especially for the current collection. So for the 2014-2015 season, you know, that sort of stuff, those collections need to be 100% complete. No, nothing. You cannot not have these complete. This is essential to completing it, except for these All-Stars and whatever. These are like glitch jerseys. One's home, one's away, but like they're not on the auction house. So like these are the only exceptions I feel for not doing. 3 cards, hopefully you'll be able to do it otherwise. But yeah, so that's for current collection. Now, for historic collection, this is where it gets a little tricky. Now, this is where you guys are gonna probably want to pause the video and look at the cards that I bought. Sorry about that. So yeah, so for the Celtics, just look at the cards I bought. Lakers, cards I bought, and so on and so forth. Like, I completed this Bucks collection because this was a cheap collection, except for Oscar Robertson. He was like 30k, and I sold him back instantly. This Hawks is another cheap collection I didn't do though. Lakers, Knicks, more Lakers, 76ers. I'm gonna go a little slower, sorry about that. Just look at the cards that I bought, and most of the ones I bought were the cheapest ones out of all of them. I mean, one thing you really need to make sure you do. Now, this is one of the most important things ever to completing this collection. This is, by the way, this is the worst card in 2K15. Look at this picture. That's like so weird, and it just doesn't fit. All right, but anyway, the most important thing for you guys to do if you want to complete this collection is to be patient. Now I know you guys are gonna be like, no, I want to get this done just like I did. I rushed to this, but you guys want to be patient. Now I'm just gonna pull out an example, and this isn't true, but just say Ron Harper. I know he's one of the cheaper cards. He's definitely one of the cheaper cards. But one day I saw him up for, let's say, 3,000. Because this happened with a ton of my cards that, I mean, I was being really stingy with my coins. So, for example, let's just say I saw Ron Harper up for 3,000 MT, and I was going through them, and I was trying to only buy cards that were only like 1,100 or 2,000 MT max. Because that's what I did to get like the first batches of cards I needed, and then I upped my budget a little more when I needed more cards. But just say like he was going for 3,000, and I was only willing to spend about 2,000 for cards at that time. I didn't budge. Like, I didn't pay the 3,000, especially if it was the only one up. I waited, and the next day I found it for 500. That happened with a ton of cards that were up for like 6,000 or 5,000, wound up being for like 2,000, 3,000 a couple of days later. I saw a lot of cards go for 500 after they were going for like 1,000, 2,000. So yeah, be patient. Definitely pays off in the long run. It saves you a few thousand MT, which can turn into a lot after a lot of cards. But yeah, these 90s historic players, and then every single logo, almost every single jersey. And yeah, so that's historic. Now if we go to the reward collection, you can see I completed Domination. I completed one of these challenges. You got Wilkins, Yao Ming, Oscar, Bill Russell, every single 2014, 2015 team challenge. We got Chris Mullin and Mark Price, Keem, Larry Johnson, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, some pink diamonds. So yeah, that's another thing that is going to probably make you guys happy, is I really didn't complete a lot of collections, nor do I have a lot of pink diamonds. So it's not like I have an advantage where I have every single pink diamond, completed a ton of collections that gives me more cards to my card total. I really just did the bare minimum. Now next is the Gems of the Games. Paul Millsap's a cheap Ruby, as well as Andre Miller, who's about 10K though. So he goes for 5 to 10K. Onyxes are definitely big. These are probably the best things you guys can get. Here, Onyxes and Emeralds. Look at these Onyxes. Most of these were for 5,000 or cheaper. Some even for 3,000. I suggest you buy them on Thursday, because that's, you know, this Gerald Wallace was going for like 6K. On Thursday, I got it for 2K. So Gerald Wallace, Elton Brand, Carlos Boozer, Pau Gasol, Kirilenko, Kenyon Martin, and I mean, I don't really need to read them to you, but here, another page. Go on. And now this is where it gets awesome. These emeralds are so cheap. Like, I look at the Jimmy Butler, and I'm like, this guy's got to be at least like 20, 30K. He was like 6K. Look at this. I pretty much have like 3 pages full of emeralds. We have 1, we have a little bit here, 2, 3, and then look at that. Full pages of just emeralds because they're so cheap. And yeah, so those are for the Gems of the Games, and that's pretty much it. All of these cards that I bought added up to 1,265 cards, allowing me to get one of my favorite players ever, Allen Iverson, who could probably cross up 95% of the league still. But yeah, it's really a grind. I honestly suggest you don't do this collection at all unless you already have like 400 to 500K MT like ready. Like, because it's really hard to get people to be nice enough and generous enough for them to donate coins to you so you can get Diamond Allen Iverson. But yeah, I mean, 500K, 600K MT to start off would probably be your best bet. And even if you don't want to go for Diamond Allen Iverson, because you don't think you can afford him, definitely try to go for Diamond James Harden, because I haven't played with Allen Iverson yet, but I've heard a few people say, I mean, I've had mixed reviews, obviously. I've heard people say Allen Iverson's absolutely insane, but I've also heard people say that Diamond James Harden is like just as good as Allen Iverson. So yeah, like I said, I have James Harden. He's really good. I really like him. He makes a lot of 3-pointers if you get his release down. It doesn't have to be perfect release, but he is really a consistent, great player. And he's 265 cards cheaper than the GOAT. And that's probably like 265 cards going from 1,000 to 265 is like 400K MT. Like, that's the big stretch of MT being spent. So if you don't want to spend that and you just want to stop at James Harden, it's really not a big deal because he's definitely worth it. But anyway, guys, I hope this helped you out a little bit to get Diamond Allen Iverson, the answer. And if it didn't, I'm sorry. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If it helped you out, be sure to drop a like. If you guys want to see some Diamond Allen Iverson gameplay, also be sure to drop a like. But anyway, guys, subscribe if you're new. McFlurpies out.